Good morning, everyone. Please feel free to introduce yourself. I think we have a good showing now. We will get started momentarily. Note that we are recording this session and we'll be sending that out to everyone for future viewing. Again, please feel free to say hello, chat, introduce yourself. And we will begin now with Patrick McClanahan, President and CEO of Goodwill Southern California.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. On behalf of everyone at Goodwill Southern California, I want to say how honored we are to host this summit. And let me start by thanking you for your role that you play as educators. It's been a remarkable, difficult time for the last 20 months for everyone. Thank you for your continued commitment to adjust to this difficult environment and faithfully serve our communities through education. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, why is Goodwill hosting this summit? You're thinking, I've bought a few items there before, maybe a nice pair of jeans or a blouse for $8, or you're thinking I've cleaned out my closet and donated a few times. But what does that have to do with apprenticeships? Well, the mission of Goodwill, the reason why we exist, the purpose of all of our stores and our donation centers is to help transform lives through the power of work. With a talented and passionate workforce development team, and through a multitude of programs that provide employment services such as counseling, training, placement, and coaching, we help people get on the pathway that leads to transform life by the result of having a sustainable job. We believe that it's the key to building healthy communities. When we think about it, there's no greater impact on one's health than having a job, both physically and mentally. It makes sense. When you think about it, physical health that comes with access to healthy food, proper clothing, housing, good health care, and mental health that comes with improved peace of mind by knowing that you can provide for yourself and provide for your loved ones. Our mission at Goodwill begins with the belief that everyone in our community has value and is worth our time and effort, and everyone in our community has talent. And if we're thoughtful and creative and convene and collaborate with like-minded partners, we can put that talent to work. Believing that together, we can develop solutions for people in need of a good career and for businesses in need of good, skilled workforce, all which ultimately leads to creating healthier communities in which we live, work, and play. As a result of the pandemic, the need for us to come together with solutions has never been greater. As I know you're well aware, there's an urgency to act. Before the pandemic, we attended seminars and read papers on the future of work. What was supposed to happen over a decade has been accelerated. With the unprecedented displacement of workers and the increased efficiencies created by businesses, the future is now. So yes, there's an urgency to act. Please know that we're here today as a willing partner to convene, to collaborate, and to identify and implement solutions. Thank you again for joining us today. I trust you'll find this summit informative and worthwhile, and we look forward to celebrating the results of solutions that we develop together in the weeks and months ahead. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our Sector Strategies Manager, Tracy DeFilippis. Tracy?
Thank you, Patrick, for providing a perfect open to our 2021 Apprenticeship Summit. And a hearty thank you to all who have joined us this morning. This week is the 7th Annual National Apprenticeship Week, which highlights how registered apprenticeship can provide a critical talent pipeline to some of industry's most pressing workforce challenges. Today's summit is designed specifically for the educational community. So a little history by way of background. Goodwill Southern California's footprint in apprenticeship began in 2015 as an applicant for a DOL grant, progressing from there to foster the development of a registered apprenticeship program with a German aerospace company, then partnering with the Northern California College to implement multi-employer apprenticeship. Forward still to co-found the Strong Workforce Apprenticeship Group with College of the Canyons in 2017. As of May of this year, Goodwill is fully registered with the US DOL to provide apprenticeship training in 11 different manufacturing occupations in a unique model of partnership, not only with the nationally recognized online technical content provider with Tooling U SME, but with a number of colleges and other post-secondary agencies to connect the dots providing a clear path of learning towards apprenticeship upskilling. Goodwill's apprenticeship program is closing the training gap. Our journey in today's summit will take you through the why, the how, a great example, a new partner platform with skillup.org, and an opportunity to partner with us. Before I hand it over to Daniel Weirman to kick us off, we'll encourage you to submit your questions that you may have in the chat. We'll be happy to address them. Additionally, we are providing a link to summit materials at the end of the webinar that will include our forms, PDFs, and contact information. And now, Daniel Weirman, our apprenticeship coordinator, kick it off.
Thanks so much, Tracy. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm so excited to talk to you guys about our Goodwill Apprenticeship Program and all the tools and resources that we have for you guys in our educational community. So I'm just going to jump right in. So my name is Daniel Weirman, and I'm the Apprenticeship Coordinator for Goodwill Southern California's Apprenticeship Program. And I want to take a quick second and just get everybody up onto the same page here. I know I'm talking to the choir, but there's some people in the audience, I'm sure, that really doesn't know a whole lot about Goodwill and where we come from and our mission and what we're doing. So bear with me 30 seconds. Let me just bring everybody together. So Goodwill Southern California is really known for their stores and the clothing stores. And I actually get this a lot. People kind of will say like the stores? And I'm like, yeah. But what people don't know is that Goodwill Southern California has over 80 different programs serving different populations. So we serve veterans, reentry, youth, special needs, and we take these individuals and we help them get reskilled or skilled in a particular style and then bring them into that industry. One of those programs is the manufacturing intermediary. That's us. So we have aerospace and defense and car parts, clothing manufacturers, and a whole bunch of different kinds of manufacturers that we serve inside of this space. And we take individuals, get them skilled, and bring them into this space. So now that we're all kind of on the same page, let me just now see if we can get all on the same page with some of the worries that manufacturing training providers are having. We have a couple of different partners as well as people we're talking to and trying to link together, from high schools to private companies to colleges. And here's some of the things that we kind of hear from everybody. The first one is the student drought, and there's really not enough students coming into these classrooms to be skilled in manufacturing. The other one is sometimes funding support, and these students not having any kind of funding support for that class education. Also, partner support, not so much on the manufacturing end, because the demand from manufacturing companies is so huge right now, but from the other end, partner support in who's helping you bring students into your classroom. And then also marketing, not having any marketing dollars or really understanding how to market your classroom to, again, stop that student drought. So let's jump into more solutions and tools and other things that we bring to the table. I'm going to spend the rest of the time right here before I hand it back to Tracy D. So free tools and resources. The biggest tool and resource that we have for you guys is the articulation of our apprenticeship program. Tracy D. Philippus is going to go into detail on that piece next and bring you guys through the whole thing. So I'm going to pause on that one. Stay tuned for her. The next one is going to be marketing and student funding. We have a partner that's going to be talking later at the end of this presentation, so don't miss it. And they're going to talk to you about how they can bring you guys marketing for free to help market your classrooms, as well as a funding piece to help fund some of your students to take your classes. So that one's coming up later at the end. So please make sure that you guys stick around for that one. And then also students, coming in from the general public. We're working right now to start connecting our veterans program, for instance, and any veteran within the greater Los Angeles area, Southern California, that is coming out of the military and is interested in manufacturing. We are going to be starting to take those individuals and then bring them to their local training provider so that you guys can train them up and then bring them into a company network. So one of the other tools and resources we have is our company network. So we have well over a dozen. We have a lot of different companies that we work with that we bring to you, the training provider. So once again, we're going to be going into detail on these tools and resources as this progresses. But I just want to recap one more time. We have our employer network that we're going to be bringing to you guys. We have our apprenticeship program that you're going to articulate with. We have marketing and student funding resources that we're going to bring to you, as well as connecting more general public like veterans and others to your program so that you guys can start filling those seats. All right. So this is really just a no-brainer of networking and partnering and tools that we're setting up for you guys. As this presentation will go on, we're going to give you guys lots of detail of how each one of these works. All right. All right, guys. That's it for me. I just wanted to kind of set everybody else up and give you the why partner with us. Now let's jump into the details of these different tools and resources. So the first one up is Tracy D. Philippus with the apprenticeship program. Tracy D., over to you.
Thanks, Daniel. Now we're going to show you exactly how to partner with Goodwill in a direct articulation. But first, a quote. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up people together to collect wood and don't assign them tasks and work, but rather teach them to long for the sea. Well, there's a lot of work involved in program development. And in order to do that, we're going to have a vision. We're talking about a vision of connected skill-based learning from education to employment for the educational community and a vision of career trajectory for the learner. This pathway reflects a connected pathway of learning through articulated agreements with technical learning programs. The vision is to show a student that their technical learning can be applied to apprenticeship later should they choose that path. Pillar number 1, student completes relevant learning. Pillar 2, student becomes employed in industry. Pillar 3, employee becomes registered as an apprentice. 4, apprentice begins on-the-job training. The applicable piece here is that the student learning in Pillar 1 can be applied at this stage in the credit for prior learning component, which we'll talk about in a few moments. Pillar 5, apprentice completes USDOL registered competency-based or time-based apprenticeship, earning a certificate of completion. By way of definition, credit for prior learning is written into the apprenticeship standards through the Code of Federal Regulations 29 CFR 29.5B12. I'll paraphrase here. Apprentices will provide transcript, records, or certifications appropriate to substantiate the claim for credit. Goodwill will evaluate the request, validate with the employer, and then attribute appropriate credit towards the apprenticeship completion. This will be done during the probationary period of the program. This is a basic time-based apprenticeship work process. There are 3 components here: the description of the occupation based upon the ONET code, a list of on-the-job learning skills grouped into categories with numbers of hours allocated for each group, related instructional categories outlining general learning content. This work process is a basic guideline and is adjusted slightly to accommodate a variety of work environments. When we talk about articulated learning, we are focusing only on related instructional categories. In this example, they are math, science, graphics, communication, and trade theory. In order to articulate, completing a basic form is the starting point. If you run a skills-based technical program in machine technology, you would complete this form and submit it to Goodwill, Southern California for review. The form simply requires basic information about school, content, description of program, hours, units, certificates associated with the program. So here's the overall process for the RTI provider. Goodwill reviews content for alignment. Goodwill submits content to USDOL. The RTI provider is approved and is listed in RAPIDS, the Registered Apprenticeship Identification System. For the apprentice, when the apprentice signs into apprenticeship, having credit to apply towards apprenticeship, records and transcripts are submitted to the sponsor at that time. Employer evaluates demonstrated skill during probationary period and credit is awarded. Here is an example of what CME Institute submitted. Rather than inputting lengthy descriptions into the form, a comprehensive course overview accompanied the form. This process is preferred to keep it simple. Here I want to quickly delineate the challenges and value proposition for the educational provider. Challenge 1, accessing program participants can be levied by showing how relevant career education is, potentially drawing learners to attend. Challenge 2, getting completion from students can be addressed by showing the benefit of credit for prior learning to foster completion. Challenge 3, connecting students to work or higher education can be bolstered by elevating the clear learning pipeline created with an employer network, with Goodwill being a rich source of employers. Here we will do the same for the learner. Challenge 1, students not knowing all their options, the value of career technical education and other non-degree paths can be highlighted, showing apprenticeship as a strong non-degree option. Challenge 2, students absorbing the cost of attendance, sacrificing work for school with no guarantee of a good job can be replaced with getting a return on investment through credit for prior learning in apprenticeship. Challenge 3, students being unsure of their ROI on education can be dispelled through strong connections with employer networks, such as the manufacturing network that Goodwill has. In the end, it is through mutual leveraged value that partnerships are formed to bridge the divide to close the upskill gap. This closing slide features some of our educational partners as well as a small handful of our employer partners in apprenticeship. Next on the agenda, a great example.
This is the point in the summit where the vision I discussed earlier was demonstrated. I'm so excited to bring together two great partners, CME Institute for Career Education and Shrillo Company, along with a newly minted CNC machinist apprentice graduate. The goal of this segment is to bring context to what we're talking about today, the apprenticeship pathway. Well, hi, Mark. We so appreciate our partnership with CME introduce yourself and tell us a little about CME's Machine Technology Program.
Hi, Tracy. I'm Mark Scheinberg, one of the assistant principals here at CME Institute for Careers and Education. Our machine technology class is a very important program here at CME Institute, attracting aspiring machinists, displaced workers, and midlife career changers who are looking to enter the highly skilled manufacturing job sector throughout the region.
And Bill, welcome. We value the opportunity to support your company in apprenticeship. Tell us about what your organization makes and your role with Shrillo.
Hi, Tracy. Thanks for this opportunity. My name is Bill Christensen. I'm president of Shrillo Company. We're an aerospace and defense manufacturing company. We have a specialized product that we make, very high precision assembly that goes into actuators in aerospace and defense products. And we've been around since 1937 and plan to be around for the next 80 or 90 years also, if we continue to keep getting good people.
And Joseph, before I hand this to you, I'd like to set up the context of our experience for our audience today. So Goodwill received your resume from CME's Career Center. We followed up with you to learn about your employment goals. We learned you were making a career change from the grocery industry in bookkeeping to manufacturing. And we're hoping to work for a local company as a CNC operator. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Well, Joseph, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about what influenced your decision to change careers.
And my name is Joseph Peter. I've been with Shrillo for the last 3 years. I've decided to change jobs because I was unsatisfied with doing bookkeeping for the grocery store. They love cutting hours and they love cutting it to the bone. So I've been looking for a way out, and after a Google search, I found Simi Valley Adult School, and I started going after work. They had flexible hours, and learned all my basics.
You mentioned you did a search on the internet and found CME Institute. That's so intriguing to me. Do you live local to CME?
No, but it was closer to work. I would just leave right after work. Yes. Here at Shrillo, I do a little bit of everything. I do CNC lathes, mills, gun drilling, surface grinding, manual lathes, and recently they've let me program some of their prototypes.
Awesome. And so you feel that CME's program thoroughly prepared you for your work at Shrillo?
Yes, they have good basics machining skills that they teach, blueprint reading, shop math, CNC mill and lathes, and Mastercam, and I took all those classes.
And Mark, I'd like to turn to you now and have you describe for us your partnership with Goodwill Southern California and how it works.
So when a student comes to us within 6 months, our students can complete their pre-apprenticeship training using our Division of Apprenticeship Standards approved 10-point checklist. Our Job and Career Center then coordinates the students with our partners at Goodwill of Southern California and their new apprenticeship program for placement with a recognized apprenticeship employer. This is exactly Joseph's story, with him transitioning from bookkeeper to machinist through us to Shrillo.
Awesome. And we do have a common goal of really facilitating people to gain skills and become employed, whether it's their first job or a career change after many years? Well, Bill, I'd like to turn to you now. I know your industry's been seeking talent for many years at this point. I was wondering if you could tell us about the particulars of what Shrillo is looking for in hiring talent.
Sure, Tracy. We always start with our ideal and work from there. But our ideal candidate would be someone who has some experience, does understand what we're doing, understands some machining, understands how to use some of the hand tools to measure and check parts. And, as far as hard skills go, and, soft skills, we're looking for people who have some inner drive, some motivation, and people who want to learn and grow within our organization, because we're seeing a lot of machinists get older and we're having a graying of the industry, and we need young people like Joseph to come in and start filling the shoes of those who are getting closer to the end of their careers.
That's a great answer. And I think it might be important to mention here at this point that resume that we received from Joseph and from Simi came to Goodwill and went straight to Shrillo. At that point, that was the beginning of the end of Joseph's job search. He just didn't know it at that point. Aside from the challenge of, I know, finding and hiring talent, there's another need, or a need within industry, and that is to train on the job to effectively to grow your workforce, as you somewhat mentioned. So Bill, I was wondering if you could share with us what prompted your decision to engage in the area of apprenticeship.
Well, as I'd mentioned, we're looking for people who can grow within the organization, and I make a distinction between operators and machinists. And we've got quite a few operators. Machinists are a higher level who can think at the machine and make decisions and make corrections and fix things. And we felt like Joseph had the background and the basics to be able to take that next step forward. But with a small company and limited resources, it's difficult to pull your best people off to train your new people. So we found that this program was a great way for us to have Joseph learn on the job and get the hands-on work, as well as get the book work and some of the knowledge that he needs to move forward in the organization. So it was a wonderful fit.
That's just so great to hear. And I know that it's important to cultivate your people continually, particularly those that have a hunger and a motivation and a drive to continue to learn. And I know how much you've already said your organization values that. And now I'd like to turn to Joseph. And Joseph, what was your motivation to enter an apprenticeship in CNC operations?
Well, it was a very easy decision. I wanted to continue my education and it was offered. So I said yes. I think you can never know too much about machining. There's always more to learn. And this seemed like a good way to do it.
And I want to mention that you signed into your apprenticeship in February of 2019 and completed 2 years later in February, really, of 2021, this year. So you were on time, 2 years, time-based apprenticeship. I just want to say congratulations to you again. That's a great advancement to you, and you'll have that certificate for years to come. And I know Bill appreciates that drive that you have to learn. So now I'd like to turn to you, Mark. Mark, close us out here and tell us about the value you place upon partnerships that tie this continuum of learning together and how that supports your overall goal, training people for careers.
Well, partnerships is everything. Goodwill has been a great partner, helping us bridge students in both directions. First, by referring adults to our program, and then once trained, providing opportunities for the students in paid apprenticeships to start them on their new career path. The partnership that Goodwill has with local employers also directs current machinists back to Senior Institute for advanced training, such as our CNC programming class. It's been a great relationship that has benefited our students, our programs, and our local employers. We have a lot of employer partners with both agencies. We work with partners in both Los Angeles and Ventura counties, including Haas Automation, Ganesh, Rexnord, Vanderhorst Brothers, Savage, many, many more. Joseph is today's highlighted student, but all of our completers have gone on to many regional or national companies.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for your participation today, for believing in the vision, for engaging in the vision. It is our sincere hope that through the sharing of this great example, we'll encourage more connections between education and industry to create solid talent pipelines into manufacturing companies, into apprenticeship pathways. Well, next up, our newest partner, Level Up, powered by Skill Up, will share a new role they play in creating an online user experience that connects job seekers and career changers to training providers and employers for the goal of laying out clear paths to in-demand jobs in high-road sectors of employment. Desiree, I'll kick it over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Desiree Jewell, and I am the Vice President of Marketing and Communications with Skill Up Coalition. I'm very excited to round out our Apprenticeship Summit programming by spotlighting a fantastic partnership that Skill Up has formed with Goodwill Southern California under the name Level Up Los Angeles, powered by Skill Up, in which we are bringing together a wealth of career training, financial support resources into an experience that puts all of this right in the hands of local Los Angeles workers looking to better understand what some of the fastest growing careers are in the area, as well as how they can get started in their upskilling journey. So I'm going to spend just the next few minutes kind of walking you through what that experience actually looks like. We've talked a lot today about all of the great supports and tools that are out there to help get workers in the doors of some of these careers. But it's often challenging for them to even know where to begin. And our relationship with Goodwill and through Level Up Los Angeles is really doing just that. Since we launched in spring of 2021, we've averaged about 5,000 visitors into our experience every month, and that only continues to grow. So we're really excited to share a bit of this experience with you today, with the hope that this is something that you can share out with your communities, as well as if you are a training provider, educator, employer that's looking to connect into this experience. We're always looking to grow this relationship and this partnership. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly and give you a chance to see what this experience actually looks like. All right, so you should be able to see here within my screen what Level Up Los Angeles looks like. And really, again, our intent in this web and mobile experience is to get as many career and upskilling resources into the hands of Los Angeles workers. Today, I want to specifically call out some of the featured careers that we have spotlighted within this. And so I'm going to scroll down here just to give you a sense of what that looks like. And given we've been talking a lot about apprenticeships and manufacturing, I want to spend just a few minutes talking through one of our examples here with CNC operating and specifically the CIMI Institute. One of the things that I really love about our experience is we're intending to give a quick snapshot of what the pathway, what the career pathway actually is, what training is involved with it, about how long that would take, and any cost associated with that. So within the Skill Up experience, you actually have the opportunity to dig in and learn a little bit about the role itself, uncover what training exists, find related jobs within your area, and actually learn a little bit more about the day in the life of. I'm going to focus kind of on the quick training overview as well as visibility into some of those jobs. So again, This allows the individual to really understand what the particular career is, salary associated with it, number of jobs in their area, and the different types of training providers that we have curated into this experience. And so with Simi here, I'm going to click in, and again, it allows the individual to quickly jump right out and understand what local training resources exist. They can click in. What I love about this experience is it's giving them, you know, a snapshot into machine technology, certifications that are offered, other integrated training, how they can register, how they can do it online or in person, financial aid contacts. Really everything is curated into one quick and easy snapshot for that individual. If you jump back in, again, it gives you the ability to kind of scroll through and look at a variety of different training providers, as well as related jobs in the area. I won't go too far into that, only because I am actually based in Denver, Colorado. And as you can see, it is going to pull up specifically for my region. But we find that this is incredibly helpful for giving that full snapshot into not only the career field, but the resources that exist around it. Within our Level Up Los Angeles experience, workers also have the ability to personalize and create their own path. This asks a series of questions around the type of work they might be interested in and starts to connect them to a variety of different pathways. We also have a number of different featured industries and training providers that sit within this experience. Within the mobile experience, again, this is all kind of very easily swipeable and allows the individuals to jump in and learn as much as possible around those respective pathways. A little further down, we have a number of localized resources. Again, this could be everything from just understanding what other career supports sit within the region, as well as things like clinic access, food banks, other types of really important localized resources that we have found can be very relevant for audiences that have been significantly impacted by job loss. Again, Skill Up was founded largely out of the COVID-19 pandemic last year. So we do still have a number of resources that speak specifically to COVID supports. The last piece that we have is just a number of other resources, including career coaching, grant and scholarship opportunities, and then additional training and job connections. So there's a lot of different ways that our visitors can jump right in and really immediately get connected to all the things that we have worked very hard to curate in partnership with Goodwill. The last piece, we work very hard to put content and any type of career resources front and center for our workers. So whether it be webinars, whether it be mental health supports, whether it be upcoming events, all of that is also represented and included here within the Level Up Los Angeles experience. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and jump back on camera here. Really, again, this is just a quick tour to give you a sense of how we are partnering behind the scenes with Goodwill to pull together a lot of really phenomenal high growth industry information and supports for our Los Angeles workers. We would love to partner with you all where it makes sense. And again, more than anything, want this resource to be as accessible as possible to workers within your communities. So we invite you to share wherever you can. Thank you so much for your time today. We hope you had a great program, and I will hand it back to our Goodwill team to round us out. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Desiree, so much for that. We appreciate your partnership. Well, as I mentioned before, this week is the 7th annual National Apprenticeship Week, which is really designed to allow stakeholders to engage with one another, generate ideas, and share creative solutions for encouraging apprenticeships, retraining our workforce, and rebuilding our middle class. Today, our summit is one of 45 events happening around the state of California and over 800 nationally. We hope you've gathered some takeaways to inform your work in the training and development arena. And so speaking of takeaways, I want to take you now to a link that we will have in the chat box. And I'll share the screen. So what you're seeing here is a Google folder. There's a variety of materials here. You'll see documents relative to our program. You have a link that has our contact sheet of everyone who's been speaking today, and a couple of folks who were not speaking today but have relative contact information for you. A listing of some registered apprenticeship programs over the greater Los Angeles area. Me has a PDF in here relative to some of the key in-demand occupations in manufacturing. Level Up also has some PDFs in terms of how to direct training providers and job seekers and learners of all ages into their platform. Our own list here of Goodwill Apprenticeship Programs occupations listed by ONET code. Also the related technical instruction provider form that I mentioned earlier and how to connect with us. That will be the beginning piece in terms of how we would work together. Also CME's machine technology syllabus and their pre-apprenticeship program overview. Some other PDFs more geared towards veterans, towards employers, towards learners of all ages. And over here is a LA City report that was put out a couple of years ago that gets more involved in chronicling and cataloging many registered apprenticeship programs across the state of California, which you may have interest in terms of guiding folks to job seekers and learners of all ages. So with that, I would like to turn this over to Dr. Luis Castellan, our Strategic Impact Officer, for some closing remarks. Luis?
Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who joined our summit today in our audience. I bet you didn't know that Goodwill did this. And in fact, I bet you didn't know that Goodwill has over 80 plus programs across 3 counties, Los Angeles, San Bernardino, and Riverside, that are doing a lot of great work to uplift our communities, especially those individuals that are hardest to serve. In fact, during the pandemic, we actually enrolled about close to 20,000 individuals into our programs. And this year, we are on track to enroll over 30,000 individuals across our 13 employment centers, over 30,000 square miles that we cover. So I bet you didn't know that that's what Goodwill did. So I just wanted to thank our audience and thank our partners, our employer partners, our job seekers, our training providers, and our educational institutions, some of which are on the call on the summit here today. I also wanted to thank Desiree and the Upskills team. It is just such a great solution to what we're trying to solve, which is just bringing everyone together, education, training providers, employers, job seekers, all under one roof, and being able to provide resources to them so that they can upskill and take their career to the next level. And lastly, I wanted to thank our staff. Our staff, Tracy Martinez, Tracy DeFilippis, Daniel Wehrman, they've been involved in this work for over 6 years. We started with 2 small grants from the Los Angeles County Department of Workforce Development, Aging and Community Services, and also a grant from the Economic and Workforce Development Department of the City of Los Angeles. And through that, we were able to become the manufacturing sector intermediary for the county. And over the course of the last 6 years, we've been able to grow this program, learn, and really mature the program into what it is today. And that was made possible by some of our funders, including the Irvine Foundation, the Keck Foundation, JP Morgan Chase, and Ballmer Foundation. So we're extremely proud and happy for the support and for us to be continuing this work into the future. And I'd like to close with 3 thoughts. One is just the need to continue to educate around this space and this work. Our program is just one of many programs that are out in the community that we need to learn more about and be able to uplift in order for them to be able to serve the individuals, the job seekers, and the employers of the region. So there's much more that we need to do in order to educate the field around that work. Second is the need to continue to engage in partnership. We are not able to solve this together. We cannot solve this together. It's through partnership that we are ultimately going to solve these challenges that are facing our job seekers and our employers in the region. And the last thing that I'd like to share is I hope that this summit inspired all of you to look at apprenticeships as a solution and to look at Goodwill as a partner. We are willing to share everything that we've learned over the last 6 years on how to grow in apprenticeships, how to create apprenticeship programs, and really just all the learning that we've done, including the resources that we shared today, so that we can continue to solve these challenges in the future. So in closing, I'd like to just say that we are still in the midst of a global pandemic. We're still fighting this, but we're moving forward and we're moving into the recovery. And as part of that recovery, it will take partnership amongst all of us to do this work. And so count on us as a partner, count us Goodwill as a partner, as a facilitator, as a convener, to be able to continue this work moving forward. So thank you so much to everyone that attended. Thank you for hearing about our great programs. Thank you for allowing us to do the Goodwill work in the region. We hope that you learned and are inspired and that you are engaged and want to engage in partnership with us moving forward. So thank you for your time. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.